Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today we're reviewing The Last Broadcast, which is a 1998 American horror film, which was one of the first found footage movies, even though technically isn't the first found footage movie, Cannibal Holocaust, but a lot of people consider this the first found footage movie, which, despite the fact that it was one of the first found footage movies, it wasn't until Blair Witch that the genre really got discovered and would eventually be ripped off a million times. So the movie is written and directed by Stefan Avilos and Lance Weiler, who also star in the movie. Which Stefan Avilos plays. What was that character's name again? Let me just double check. Fuck. David Lee. That can't be right. Fuck, it won't tell. Did he play himself? Oh, it's Stephen Alfcast. Okay, that was his. That was his name in the movie. Okay, and you got Lance Wheeler played Locust Wheeler. Wow, they kind of went, when they came up with the names, they were really close. You got Holly Madison as Miss Lady Bright Eyes, David Beard as David Lee, the filmmaker, Jim Seward as Jim Sward, the accused, Rain Clabbers as Rain Clacton, the paranormal soundman. You got Michelle Pulaski as Michelle Monarch, the data retrieval expert. Tom Brunt as Tom Bransky, technical director of Fatter Fiction. Mark Rubley as Claire DeForest as editor for the prosecution. A.D. Rosso as Anthony Rossi, the lead investigator of the murders. Holy fuck, this has a huge cast. Yeah, let's forget that. So the story for this movie is it's about this crew of amateur filmmakers who run this public broadcast TV station, TV show, which was kind of popular, but then started losing popularity. So they started up a new show called Factor Fiction, and started taking requests from people, suggestions from people on what the topic should be about, which someone suggested on RIC chat, which is like one of the first internet messaging services on the internet, that they should do a special on the Jersey Devil, right? Which is, this movie's called it's called a Jersey Devil movie, which I don't know if I would call it that. Spoiler alert. Yeah, so what happens is they go missing in the woods, and the only survivor is Jim Sward, who gets arrested and charged. And the police took footage from the crew that they found and basically edited together a hit piece where they make it look like the guy planned the whole thing, which the movie paints him as this loner who just wanted to be friends with the people who were who ran this internet show that he used to watch, which the show would also broadcast online, right? Which I didn't know live streaming was a thing in 1998, but according to this movie, it was possible. Yeah, so this guy, I forget his name, but what was his name? Is it on the man with the whatever? There's a guy, I forget his name, who's making this documentary about the event when he comes, when somebody sends him missing footage from a tape that was made that the police never got a hold of, right? So he hires this lady, Michelle Monarch, to fix the footage, the tape of this the tape from this VHS or whatever, to like find out what happened, right? So like most of the movie, and I don't want to spoil like after that, but yeah, most of the movie is basically interviews with like people involved who knew the people, like cops who were in charge of the investigation, like stuff like that, right? Which, like, most in the movie, I would say the 50 minutes of the movie is like a fucking crime documentary until like the found footage is revealed, and then like you get to see what happened that night, and yeah. So I don't want to spoil too much, but like, yeah. There is no supernatural element to this movie. There is no Jersey Devil, which kind of sucks, because like you see like the corpses. That's one of my complaints for the movie, which is why I'm spoiling it, right? I'm not gonna spoil like who the killer is or anything, right? Though the cover for this movie is a spoiler in itself. Like, guys, there's only one female character in this movie, so put two and two together. Yeah, so like, yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, like if you looked at the corpses and shit, like they were fucking, they looked like they were attacked by like a fucking wild animal, right? So like the idea of like this guy who was obviously framed by the police, but nobody will say it, because like the only like real DNA that the only real evidence that ties this Jim Sword to the murders is that there's blood of all three victims on his shirt, but they're like pin drop blood marks throughout his shirt. So it's like if he had really like had the guy, one of the forensic people said like he would have had like a blade in each hand and like hacked away at the victims, right? So like he would have gotten like a lot more blood on him than like pin drops, right? But I guess the stupid attorney was too afraid to say, hey, like this, if he had really done what they said, there would have been more blood on him, right? So like obviously the guy was framed, which, you know, that a lot of times that shit happens. And like it's funny because like you have like the lead investigators getting like interviewed, and he's like, yeah, when we do investigations, we don't let outside influences affect our like investigations, right? Like if you looked at the Kurt Cobain case before they did any real investigations, right? Before they even did an autopsy on his corpse, they fucking ruled his death as a suicide when it was obviously that he was killed. Which I still need to watch that Kurt Cobain documentary, but it's the thing where I've seen videos of people where they talked about it, and if you watch the trailer, the trailer enough for Soaked in Bleach, which was the crime doc that I'm talking about. It's pretty obvious what happened. They make a good case about it. Yeah, so this movie, my problem with reviewing this movie is that too much time is spent on like interviewing people, where like the movie would have been a lot better if we had just like spent more time hanging out with the people who went to the forest, right? Which to look for the Jersey Devil, because that was like the footage, watching the footage of those characters hanging out was the best part of the movie, right? So the characters, those characters are supposed to be like the stars of the film, but they hardly have any fucking screen time, right? And I know if you count the twists of the movie, yeah, the movie has this really cool twist where it's like, I don't want to spoil too much, but it was like some dude's like master plan or whatever that he manipulated from behind the scenes and like, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, that's cooler than if they actually went to the woods and there was like a fucking Jersey Devil, right? I guess that is more high IQ than that, but I would have preferred, honestly, I would have preferred more a movie where you had these guys go in the woods and actually encounter the Jersey Devil movie. So this movie, I understand this movie is an innovator, so it deserves like respect. But honestly, the movie was mostly boring for me, but it had some highlights. So I'm giving it, like a 6.5 out of 10 out of respect. But really, if I were to ignore that respect and were to give it like an honest rating, it would probably be like a 6 at best. It's like worth watching. The movie is like worth watching at least once, but other than that, I wouldn't buy or own this movie, despite whatever fucking Red Letter Media says. So yeah, but you can watch this movie online for free on like YouTube and shit. Like it's even like there's this popular horror movie reviewer. I think his name's Jay versus Horror. He has this movie on his YouTube channel for everybody to watch for free. Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking my next horror movie review. I'm thinking of renting Bobcat Go Whites, whatever, however you pronounce that fucking that fucking no-name comedian, washed-up comedian's name. He directed a found footage movie called Willow Creek about Bigfoot. I heard it's good. I'm thinking of watching it, and yeah. All right, guys, that's it for today.